This is Dr. Michael Greger coming to you live from my treadmill like I do every month to answer your questions on both Facebook Live and here on YouTube. I just finished my Facebook an hour ago and here for my last Q&A of the month. So get your questions in now. I see some people had already listed them down. I will start at the top and just go straight down and hopefully get to your question. For those of you unfamiliar with my work, every year I read through every issue of every English language nutrition journal in the world. So busy folks like you don't have to. I then compile the most interesting, most groundbreaking, most practical findings, new videos and articles I upload every day to my nonprofit site, NutritionFacts.org. Everything on the website is free. There are no ads, no corporate sponsorship, particularly non-commercial, not selling anything, just put it up as a public service, as a labor of love, as a tribute to my grandmother, whose own life was saved with evidence-based nutrition. Let us get to your questions. Jessica asks, thank you for my work. What about BPA in an air popper for popcorn? I don't want to undo the benefits of popcorn by adding BPA. So BPA is a plastics compound used as a liner for many canned goods and in polycarbonate plastic. So it's something like, leaving a hot water bottle in a car or something, you get BPA in your water. But I don't know how an air popper would put BPA. So BPA is used for flexible plastics. In fact, that's why they add it to plastics. And so an air popper is not made out of flexible plastic. I'm not sure where I can't imagine how an air popper would put BPA on your popcorn. So I wouldn't worry about it. Unless you have data otherwise, let me know and I'll maybe do a video about it. Leanne says, questions asked now will almost certainly not be here by the time Dr. Greger shows up in 2 hours. So I suggest trying back. Well, Leanne, it appears you're wrong. So it looks like 2 hours before my next Q&A, or in all my Q&As here on YouTube, you can already start listening to your questions. You can have your question first, like Jessica did, and get it answered. Okay, well, it's good to know. So thank you for Leanne for helping us out. Okay. Leanne is answering someone called Be Mindful, saying that she thinks prune juice would be yellow light since it's a processed plant food. So there's one. So tomato juice is actually healthier than tomatoes, unless there's salt added. Obviously it is. The way I define process is nothing bad added, nothing good removed. So no salt added. Tomato juice doesn't have anything bad added. And you think, well, yeah, but you remove the fiber. Actually, tomato juice has a lot of fiber. They don't seem to remove a lot of the fiber. And the cooking process that makes tomato juice actually makes the beta carotene, lycopene, some of these carotenoid phytonutrients actually more absorbable. So I would put tomato juice in a green, salt-free tomato juice in a green light category. In terms of prune juice, that's a good question. I wonder. Because prune juice seems to me kind of thick. Is there fiber? Maybe they remove some of the fiber. So yeah, probably prunes or plums would be healthier than eating prune juice. But I don't think prune juice is like something like apple juice, where they literally remove all the fiber and literally you're just left with kind of flavored sugar water, a little vitamin C or something. So actually, in case of apple juice, no vitamin C really at all, although they probably add it afterwards. Anyway. So prune juice may be in the middle there and not as bad as some of these other juices, though why not just eat some prunes? Okay. Or plums. It is plum season. It's stone fruit season, at least where I am here on the East Coast. Just got some of my CSA, my community supported agriculture, and boy, do I love plums. All right, I just had 2 for lunch. Okay, Leanne is now responding to @Alexandra D. I'm not sure what the question was. Okay, Nicole is the next question. But how long should you wait after drinking green tea to eat a meal? Or how long after a meal to drink it? So what Nicole is presumably referring to is the ability of green tea and black tea, any kind of tea from the tea plant, like oolong tea, white tea, is that it can block the absorption of iron. So having tea and a meal in your stomach at the same time is not ideal for the absorption of non-heme iron. So I encourage people to drink tea separate from their meals. And the question, great question, is, well, wait a second, how separate? So the concept is not having food and the tea in your stomach at the same time. So before a meal, pure liquid drains very quickly out of your stomach. So like if you had tea an hour before a meal, it would be totally out before you may even be like half an hour before a meal. But after a meal, right, the food's in your stomach for a while, depending on what you eat, how much you eat. It could take hours for your stomach to empty. But look, if you give it an hour or two head start, then drink some tea, that wouldn't be as much of a problem. But basically, that's the thinking, right? So tea kind of on an empty stomach. Although some people, actually, it irritates their stomach to drink tea. The tannins in tea, so these bitter compounds, actually sometimes give people a stomach ache if they drink it on an empty stomach, in which case, don't do that. All right. Let me see. Where are we here? Sedant asks, what are some alternatives for people with serotonin deficiency who take SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, to manage their condition? Okay, so I have videos on that. So I have videos on SSRI antidepressants, questioning their efficacy. In fact, the whole kind of serotonin theory may not actually be legit. I mean, that depression is a state of serotonin deficiency. That's kind of controversial, but there are certainly things you can do to improve the conditions for which SSRIs are often prescribed, such as depression. So if you just type in antidepressants or depression into NutritionFacts.org, all the videos will pop up. There is actually serotonin in plant foods, actual real serotonin, like in your brain in plant foods, but doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier. But what does is the precursor to serotonin, tryptophan. And I have a video talking about how you can optimize the absorption. So basically, tryptophan in context of low protein can facilitate serotonin levels in the brain. I think it was butternut squash seeds, right? In that video about butternut. Anyway, check out the videos. And there's lots of things you can eat that may improve your mood. Felicia asks, my whole body's itchy. What could be the cause and what to do about it? Well, what to do about it is the first part of the question, find the cause. So itchiness all over can be a consequence of really potentially serious conditions like liver or kidney problems, or it could just be some you're like having a hypersensitive reaction to like the fabric softener or something in your clothes or something. So the important thing is find out what it is and then treat the cause rather than trying to like use some kind of anti-itch cream or something. So make an appointment, see your medical professional, and get to the bottom of it. Though you can kind of think in your own mind what you might have been exposed to in terms of some kind of contact dermatitis, or anyway. And if you're getting hives, it's a whole nother story, kind of swellings in the skin. But you see your doctor and get to the bottom of it rather than just kind of cover up the symptoms. Okay, Deborah asked, does turmeric need to be eaten with a fat? For best absorption. I've got a video about that. Eating turmeric with fat does improve the absorption of some of the fat-soluble nutrients in it. And so, yes, I would encourage you to, throw some nuts, seeds, or avocado onto a turmeric dish. That would do it. So for people that take vitamin D supplements, which is typically in an oily form, or a preformed DHA, these long chain omega-3s, if you just took those anytime when you're eating turmeric, if you're going to take them any time, might as well do it when you're eating turmeric, because then that little fat on there will increase the absorption if for whatever reason you don't have any nuts, seeds, nut butter, seed butters, or avocado in the house. Leanne says, please, how nice. Leanne says, please sell Nutrition Facts shirts made from 100% organic cotton. Oh, that's a great question. I'm presuming that whatever we're using is not 100% organic. I will, if you go to NutritionFacts.org, click on the contact button and leave a message saying, please try to find organic shirts. We will see if we can source those. It depends on whether whoever the vendor we use has that in stock, but I'd love to offer that. Okay. Leanne, new company Leafside. Yes, I was just talking about Leafside on Facebook. A new company, Leafside, sells free-dried, just add water meals based on my daily dozen. Yes, I have heard of them. How much nutrition is lost in free drying? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so that's actually what I just talked about on Facebook. Yes. So I encourage you to check them out. So they came up. So it's all we know. I mean, there's just overwhelming science suggesting that eating healthy has all sorts of benefits. So the question is really, okay, that's done, right? I mean, anyone who delves into this will quickly become convinced by the overwhelming mountain of evidence. The question is, okay, well, how do you make it convenient, though? I mean, how do you actually get it incorporated into your life? Look, for me, that's difficult, not when I'm at home, when I have control over my diet, but when I'm traveling around and find myself stuck in airport food courts, I'm trying to dig up something that's healthy. It can be a real challenge. And so that's why I personally was really excited about the Leafside food. So yeah, it's a just add water, but just green light ingredients, right? So they don't add salt, sugar, oil, any of that stuff. It's just whole foods, but freeze dried. So I tried a mushroom one that they did. I forget what it's called, but there's like forest mushroom something. It's got like oats and mushrooms, all this stuff. So you get hot water from your hotel coffee maker. You just add it and you mix it up, poof, and I have real food on the road. And I don't have to go wandering around the middle of the night in some strange city trying to find food. I'm really excited about it. In terms of the question with loss of freeze drying, there's not great data out there. We know that freezing itself preserves nutrition in terms of fresh and frozen berries or greens. But in terms of the extra drying step, I'm not. I did kind of a superficial look and did not see much out there. But if it's a common question, I will do a deep dive and see. But I'm certainly enjoying their foods. And it's just so rare to get, I don't know, a convenient kind of shelf-stable, non-perishable food that isn't just garbage. It's actually all real food. All right, Sandra S. says, my mom has recently diagnosed with stage 4 ovarian cancer. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm wondering what can we do in addition to surgery, chemo, with diet. So, I mean, it's even more important when your body is fighting off such insults to eat, extra special well. And so that's, I mean, there's nothing, I'm trying to think, ovarian cancer. I mean, I presume you've typed in ovarian cancer, NutritionFacts.org. I remember there was something on ovarian cancer survival. I forget what food it was. But it wasn't an interventional study. I believe it was an observational study where they associated a consumption of a particular food with improved ovarian cancer survival. I don't remember. Maybe that was lung cancer. I don't know. You have to check it out. But I have not seen much on diet and ovarian cancer, either prevention or treatment. So I know of no kind of specific food. Although, I have all these, remarkable studies on, like you remember those turmeric and broccoli sprouts, things like that appear to help in other arenas. And so it might be worth adding those. But I mean, there's no data you can point to suggest efficacy towards that particular type of carcinoma. Does JF ask, does DHA/EPA raise LDL cholesterol? It shouldn't. So, I mean, typically people just take a few hundred milligrams a day. That should not raise your LDL. Leanne is replying to Felicia. Felicia asks, I'm starting to bruise very easily since going vegetarian. What could be the cause? Too much vitamin K? No, too much vitamin K doesn't cause easy bruising. I mean, so it may just be kind of a coincidence that when people change their diet either way towards healthier or unhealthy, then anything happens, they're like, oh, I wonder if it's my diet. But maybe if you hadn't changed your diet at all, whatever would have happened anyway. So I would actually get checked out. You get your platelets checked, and there's all sorts of kind of the whole kind of blood coagulation system in the body is extraordinarily complex. I mean, it's amazing if you think about it. That we should be able to close off a wound instantly so you don't die from blood loss, but yet totally liquid, because you get a clot anywhere, you can kill you within a minute. So it's this amazing process. But there's lots of different components, lots of different things that can go wrong. So you just got to find out what it is. So I encourage you to go check it out. But in terms of food that one would not expect a change in diet to cause easy bruising. Debbie Tucker asks, just wondering if you had any research on reducing uric acid for lessening episodic gout. Absolutely. Type in uric acid or gout into NutritionFacts.org. A bunch of things, including cherries and cherry juice. So tart cherries, what else? But there's other stuff in terms of alkalizing your diet. So basically eating lots of dark green leafy vegetables alkalizes your urine, helps with the excretion of uric acid. So all sorts of, and lots of water. A bunch of videos. Check them out. Right. Can B12 cause, Laura Duarte asks, can B12 cause benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH? Not that I know of. What can is our miserable diet. So hopefully you're taking B12 because you're eating healthier, and that should indeed forestall or prevent BPH in the first place. Nicholas asks, what about lectins and lentil sprouts? The lectins and lentils are harmless, as you can check out in the 3 videos I have about lectins. Check them out. And eat your lentil sprouts. What a super healthy snack. Nicholas asks, mustard powder in kale smoothies? ? Gross. Look, there's no. So the whole mustard powder thing is to reignite the sulforaphane production, because you in cooked cruciferous vegetables like cooked kale. So if you cook kale without chopping it up first, you've wiped out the enzyme that produces sulforaphane. So you add the enzyme back in the form of mustard powder, and you can make all the sulforaphane you need. But you only can do that with cooked. People don't typically use cooked kale in smoothies. They use fresh kale to make a green smoothie, in which case, no mustard. The enzyme is there, active, ready to do its job. So, unless it floats your boat, I would not add mustard powder to smoothies. Okay, Nicholas again asks, is 3 cups of oats a day too much? 3 cups of oats a day? It's a lot of oats. So the only problem with, oats are super healthy, one of the healthiest whole grains out there. My only concern would be somehow that's pushing out some even healthier food. Although since they're one of the healthiest foods, it's hard to, it'd be hard to push out a healthier food. But you still have to, eat your fruits and veggies and other things in there, and that might fill you up a little too much. But no, but typically, look, the more oats, the better. The more healthy food, the better. But yeah, throw some berries on that. Federico asks, whole food vegan diet for 8 months now, serious problem with flatulence. Start with 2 servings of legumes, then 3. And I didn't do it gradually, but shouldn't I have adjusted by now? So months in, I'm still dealing with issues of flatulence. And so I have a blog called, I don't know, if you type in beans gas in NutritionFacts.org, And you actually click, well, the default search will give you just videos. But actually, I think the best info, well, I do have a good video on beans and gas, but I do have an older blog post. If you click on blogs, that goes into detail, things you can do to decrease kind of the gassiness of beans. Typically, it goes away. Your gut flora stubbornly is trying to hold on there. And I have some tips on how you can reduce that issue. Worst comes to worst, you can actually take these enzyme drops, like Beano. There's another one out on the market now that you add to beans, and it kind of breaks down all these indigestible sugars, and so there's nothing for your gut bacteria to make gas from. All right, Zissit Zivo or Zassit Zivo _CZ asks, what death should I expect on a plant-based diet? Well, you can still get hit by buzz, right? It's still important to make sure you have smoke alarms and wear your seatbelts and practice safer sex and all the other things. Diet is not the only thing that can kill you. Bharat says, hello, Bharat. Matt JH33 asks, any diet or topical treatments for seborrheic dermatitis on the scalp? Not that I know of. The only thing you really do for seborrheic dermatitis is just go to a dermatologist, get it frozen off. They dab it with a little like liquid nitrogen, and it gets all inflamed for a little while, and then just falls right off. But that's strictly cosmetic. I mean, there's no reason. I mean, that doesn't help in any other way than just for cosmetic purposes. So it's completely harmless if it is indeed seborrheic dermatitis. Either nothing to do about it, or if you want to, you can get it taken care of. But I don't think there's anything you can like put on it other than liquid nitrogen or anything you can eat that affects it, as far as I know. Although I don't know if I've ever actually searched that. If you go to pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov, and type in seborrheic dermatitis and diet, see if anything comes up. And if something juicy, send it to me. Maybe I'll do a video about it. Jessica, thanks me for my work and says, what kind of air pop popper would I recommend? Whatever's cheapest. I don't know. Nicole asks, what do I think of Castile? Right, and the reason I say cheap is because then you can buy more kale. More money for kale. Nicole, what do you think of Castile soap? Nicole asked me, what do I think of Castile soap? Chemicals regular soap are harmful to our health too, that she has read. So Castile soap made from olive oil. I think I actually use, this is not based on research. I just like the what Dr. Bronner's soap. I believe that's Castile soap. It's just, I don't know. But chemicals, but I don't know about the chemicals in regular soap being harmful. I do have a video talking about some of the fragrances that are some of the concerns about some of the fragrances that are added to kind of personal care items. But I think that's all I've really done work on. And then aluminum in antiperspirants. And then I have videos about one of that sodium lauryl sulfate, the foaming agent in toothpaste. I think those are the only three topics that I cover in terms of that kind of stuff. Oh, I do have DIY cleaning agents. Talk about tea tree oil, right? So that too. But yeah, it's almost about soap, but not like hand soap. Okay, Matt JH33 asks, are calcium chloride or EDTA bad for you? Is there a list of food preservatives people should avoid? Well, it's probably not so much the food preservatives, but what food preservatives are placed in. So why would a food need preserving? Because it's not fresh. Do you think, like broccoli has that preservatives added to it? No, because it's broccoli, right? Good food goes bad. If it sits on the shelf for a couple of weeks, and it's not dried beans or dried grains or something, I don't know. I mean, usually they add food preservatives to a lot of processed crap. And so it's probably the processed crap that's worse, not the preservative itself. But calcium chloride, Yeah. I think I have some videos on BHA, BHT, maybe old videos. But yeah, not on preservatives particularly. I don't think so. My USM asks, is eating whole food plant-based nutrition late in the evening just for bed worse than earlier in the day? Ready for this? The answer is, too bad there's not like some like polling option where you can be like, raise your hand if. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, and the answer is yes, it is worse. We should try to weight the bulk of food intake earlier rather than later in the day. It actually is metabolically better. So big breakfast, small dinner is better than big dinner, small breakfast. Why? Because of chronobiology, because of our circadian rhythms. I've got a really fascinating series of videos coming out. It'll go deep into that topic. All right, where are we? All right, David Woods asks, 3 minutes left. David Wood asks, does cyanocobalamin or methylcobalamin B12 digest better than the other? What are the differences? The biggest difference is methylcobalamin is not as shelf stable. So you get a bottle of pills and you have no idea how much methylcobalamin is actually still in it. Whereas cyanocobalamin, the reason I make it cyanocobalamin, is because it can be stable on the shelf. And so you buy it, and actually, if it had it originally, it's still there. Most of it is still there. And so I recommend 2,500 micrograms of cyanocobalamin once a week. Get all the B12 you need. You can take 250 micrograms a day if you want, or even B12 fortified foods. Anyway, but so that's why it's better than methylcobalamin. There was one study, and most of the studies on reversal of B12 deficiency have been done on cyanocobalamin, so we can be much more much more trusting. There was this only one study ever on people eating plant-based with B12 deficiency on methylcobalamin in terms of reversing B12 deficiency, and one of the people that took it or told the researchers they took it, actually their B12 levels didn't rise sufficiently. So that's concerning. You never want that to happen. So again, another data point suggests cyanocobalamin is better and happens to be cheaper too, though the people selling methylcobalamin will disagree. All right, Matt JH33 asks, are there concerns over ingredients in my were these concerns in ingredient cookbook or warranted? Okay, are his concerns about these ingredients in my cookbook unwarranted? Talking about the How Not to Die cookbook. So red light white rice and arsenic and miso. So not all miso has rice in it. Yeah, you can get rice-free miso if you want. In fact, that's arsenic is the reason why there is no any kind of rice in the cookbook, and I prefer other grains. AGEs in tahini, so that would only be so talking about advanced glycation end products. That would only be in toasted tahini. You can get raw tahini, made from just sesame seeds, as opposed to toasted sesame seeds. In fact, isn't most tahini that way? I don't know. It certainly tastes untoasted. And arsenic and rice vinegar. I think in my arsenic videos I had I talked about rice vinegar, but as far as I remember, it did not raise any alarm bells, just because the amount of rice vinegar anyone would typically eat in a day is minuscule. And all that wonderful acetate would have all sorts of wonderful benefits. But you can use any kind of vinegar you want. Time is up. The next question is really easy answer though. This person is on switch to a healthier diet, and it says his white blood cell count is under 4. Oh my God, what should I do? That's why I did this series of 2 videos talking about white count. If you put white cell count, NutritionFacts.org, I have videos talking about how healthy it is to have a low white count, because it is a measure of systemic inflammation in the body. And I talk about exactly what kind of white count you want. But yeah, that is actually a very common question. And it turns out what you think is uh-oh is actually aha. Have a great day, everybody, and eat healthy.